All right, guys, since I'm here and I'm filming stuff, this is going to be video number 2 for YouTube. Wanted to go over how to fit a firearm. So I get a lot of people going into gun stores with me to see me, whatever, and they want to find out what gun they should get. So I'm pretty pragmatic about it. I mean, granted, I've got a fair number of firearms and I've collected for, a number of decades. My firearms now are tools for a specific job. Right? When I'm going to the range, it's to do something specific. So I'm a competitive shooter. I shoot USPSA, 3 and 4 gun. So my gun choices nowadays are really focused around that. That said, I also do trap, skeet, sporting clays, bullseye, distant shooting. Long range. Granted, long range for me is not long range for others, and vice versa. But still, I do a lot of different things, and then I just collect things that are neat, or that I find interesting. But that said, when people are looking for their first handgun, and again, I tend to focus, my students primarily have never shot before or have very limited shooting experience, at least when they first come to me. Most of my students that come to me are now actually shooting competition, USPSA and whatnot, and that actually makes me feel pretty good that they're actually out there having fun and are able to hang with professionals. But that said, when you're looking for your first firearm, my usual verbiage is let the job define the tool. I don't walk into Home Depot saying, I want to buy a tool today. That's not the way it rolls, right? I have a Phillips head screw that needs a Phillips screwdriver, so I need to buy a Phillips screwdriver. That's how I look at firearms. If you are looking for a beginner's learning firearm, a home defense firearm, a concealed carry firearm, something specific to a sport of some kind, then that's going to guide my recommendations. That said, I'm going to go over what most people are looking for in their first semi-automatic. That said, I also don't recommend semi-automatics to be the first gun you learn on. Highly recommend a double action revolver to learn on. That does not mean you have to buy one as your first firearm, but you should learn on one. So everybody that comes to me for lessons, the first 50 shots or so that they're taking and the first several hundred dry fire trigger pulls are going to be on a double action revolver shooting single action. If you don't know what that means, I'm going to have separate videos about that. That's it. So here we go. How to fit a semi-automatic firearm, and this also applies somewhat to revolvers, to you. So I'm right-handed, although I can shoot both sides. I just prefer right. I'm going to again use my dummy pistol here. So what I'm doing is I am looking to make sure that elbow, wrist, and forefinger are all lined up, right? So even in this, you can see, that's actually a pretty good shot given it's a cell phone camera, but everything is lined up. Reason being is I can be able to point at something. I can point at my fire extinguisher on the wall over there. I can point at the sink over there. I can point without actually looking and be in the general area. The mistake I see a lot of people do when they're fitting a firearm to them is they will take the flat part of the grip and they will put it towards the flat part of their palm. And in a lot of cases, they will have to turn that in their hand. So now if I was to point directly at the camera here, you can see my finger pointing directly at the camera, but even at this close range, and this is only about 6 inches, the gun is pointed 4 inches off to the side. So the mistake people make is that they will then have to rotate the firearm in their hand. So now, is that good or bad? I am going to argue that it's not only bad, it's very bad. Because what ends up happening is that now they're taking all that recoil just through their thumb, as opposed to their entire arm. So not only that thumb becomes a pivot point. So they end up getting a much more muzzle flipped gun than they normally would if they had it properly lined up in their hand. It's not going to be as comfortable, but it's not supposed to be. It's supposed to be controlled. So making sure that gun is properly aligned, that's what I'm looking for. Now you can go and pick up a bunch of different firearms and say, okay, well, now that I know how to hold it, I can get a feel for what's comfortable and what's not based on grip shape, hand size, gun size, and so on. But making sure that that proper alignment is there is going to be key to making sure you've got a good firearm for you to go forward. The next thing I tend to recommend when looking at a firearm is, well, how heavy is it? I get a lot of people coming in thinking that they want something very light. Do not recommend light firearms as a first firearm. They're uncomfortable for me, and I've shot well over 1 million rounds in my lifetime of all kinds of different guns. I don't like shooting small guns. The recoil is prodigious. I don't need to kick the crap out of my hand like that. So a nice big heavy gun shooting something of nominal strength is more than sufficient to learn on. So your 9mm, your 38s, perfect stuff, right? That doesn't mean that a 9mm or 38 can't kick. A very small 38 is brutally painful in the wrong hands, or even in the wrong gun. So again, a nice big heavy gun. So I like large frame revolvers. I like weighted semi-automatics with bull barrels. It's just easier to shoot and easier to learn on. Now, granted, these are all personal preferences. I know a lot of people can go out there and pick up any random gun and learn on it. It's how fast do you get good. So for anything more than that, I'm going to recommend that you come see me in person. Otherwise, this video is going to be forever. But a lot of people don't see me until they get to a gun store for a referral or see me online or through a friend. But when you're looking for that first firearm, before you get to see your instructor, make sure that they're at least talking about fitments, right? I know a lot of people will get brand centric and they'll say, okay, you need this particular firearm. Again, I don't want to be recommending brands. I don't have any brand loyalty. What I do have is discipline and consistency. So anyway, I hope you all have a great day. Have a great day at the range.